Hi you guys, today I wanted to hop on here as my baby is napping and Samir's with Serena to kind of talk to you about how we came up with our baby boy's name. I'm here with my cup of coffee that my husband made for me at 10 a.m. and it's currently 4 p.m. and I still haven't drank it. So I'm gonna be chit-chatting with you guys as I sip on this cold coffee. Okay, so a lot of people on Instagram were asking me, what is the boy's name? Is it Aleo? Is it Ali? What is the name? Does he have two names? So I'm here to kind of break down everything to you guys, kind of explain to you how we came up with the name Aleo, because it's kind of a unique name and something that we kind of made up. And the way that happened was, if you guys remember from the previous video, I'll leave the link to that down below. Me and Samir could not agree on a baby boy's name. He wanted something that is completely unique, that no one he knows has named their son or is named that specific name. And I was very particular on certain names. I do want something unique, but I don't want something to be too odd, if that makes sense. And the name Ali is a name that we both love so very much, but for various reasons we didn't want to name our son Ali. Well, not me, him. He still wanted something that's a little unique because we know so many Alis in the world, and we wanted, as I said, something that's different, that nobody in my side of my family or his side of the family is named that name. Other names that me and him agreed on were Leo. So one day, me, him, his best friend, and his girl, we were sitting in the pool and we were kind of, talking about, the names that we like. I remember I was 8 months pregnant and I'm like, I really love Ali. I also really like Leo, but they're both not unique names. They're common names, especially with our generation. So I was like, man, I wish we could just, combine these names together somehow. And then his best friend looks at me and he's like, how about a Leo? And at first he said a Leo, and I'm like, a Leo? And Samir looked at him, he's like, that's genius, bro. And I was like, but a Leo sounds weird. Like, if he's gonna go introduce himself to a girl, he's gonna be like, hey, my name is Aleo. She's gonna be like, what, you're a Leo? Like, I don't know. It just sounded a little weird to me. And then I'm like, I think I like the way Aleo sounds. And we all agreed. I was the most hesitant at the pool because I'm like, Aleo. I don't think I know anyone that's named Aleo. And I don't know how I feel about naming my son Aleo. Like, does that name even exist? Is there anyone in the world named Aleo? What does Aleo even mean? So my husband was like, GUINWA, if you're not gonna name him Aleo, I wanna name my son Samir. And y'all know I did not wanna name my son Samir because my dad is Samir, my husband is Samir. I just thought there was way too many Samirs in the family. So I was like, let me sleep on it. Let me think about it. Let me kind of keep saying that name, see if it rubs off on me. So I went back home that night and I got on the computer and I researched Aleo. I wanted to see if there's anyone out there that's named Aleo. And it turned out there was like only 3 people in this entire world that are named Aleo. I even went on Instagram and I typed Aleo to see like who has that name. And there was no one. There was just one profile with 0 posts and that's it. And I was like, ooh, that is pretty unique. And then what kind of made me so stuck on the name was when I typed up Aleo, the translation of the name was, Aleo is the Italian name for Ali. And I was like, wait, what? Like, are you kidding me? And that's when I was like really interested in the name. I'm like, perfect, because I love the name Ali, and Aleo is kind of like another version of Ali, so it works out. It's like 2-in-1 type of thing. His family obviously loved the name Ali. My family loved the name Ali too, but when I told them Aleo, my family really liked it. Obviously, I think for like my grandparents and people back home, it might be a little difficult, especially if they don't like speak English. It might be a little different for them, and that's kind of why some people just say Ali. So in the baby welcoming event, I had Ali and I had Aleo. It's because in English it's Aleo and in Arabic it is Ali, which sounds a little odd to a lot of people, but in our culture, for example, if you guys meet a lot of people, like for example, if someone is named Joseph, his Arab version of that name is actually Yusuf. Or if you guys meet an Arab whose name is Abe, that's actually the shortcut for Abdullah. So this is kind of very common in our culture, and we do that because a lot of times it's really hard for non-Arabs to pronounce our names. I didn't get to have like an easier version of my name. I just kept it as GUINWA. So that's kind of why, in the baby welcoming, you guys saw the big Arabic sign that said Ali on it, but then, the English decor on there was Aleo. So that kind of explains the whole confusion about the name and how I came up with the name Aleo and why Ali, how Ali came in the picture and all that stuff. His middle name is Samir because in our culture, the baby takes the dad's middle name. So Serena, for instance, her middle name is Samir as well, which confuses a lot of people, but that's kind of how our culture is. So for example, my name is GUINWA, my dad's name, and then my last name. And then obviously now I have my husband's last name. So I hope this video kind of explains any confusion out there, you guys. It kind of explains to you how we came up with the name. I wanted to keep this nice and simple because your girl has to run to one of the babies at this point. And I still have so many other videos that I want to film for you guys. I just have to kind of find the time, which I'm working around the schedule. Being a mom of 2 under 2 is definitely very challenging. There's ups and downs. There's days where I am literally sitting in bed and just crying and thinking like, when is this going to get better? And then there are days like today, that's my daughter, where I actually feel good. So yeah, that's kind of how we came up with the name. I hope that kind of clarifies any confusion out there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for following along my journey. It's been kind of crazy these past 2 years, but I appreciate each and every single one of you guys, and I will see you guys in a next video, hopefully, fingers crossed, next week.